Yo, what the deal? This is T Money, and you are now watching the T Money podcast joint right here in the building. We have my girl, my nerve, jelly preserve, Stax Cadero. What's up, Stax? What's cracking?
What's going on, T Money? How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Harlem in the building.
Harlem's always in the building.
How's it been going, man? You know, I had my little party, and I want to say thank you for hanging out with your boy.
I mean, you was in Harlem. I had to pull up on you.
We did our thing out there. Thank you, everybody, for all the birthday shout-outs and all the love I got from my born day, man. Salute to all y'all, man. Peace out to my man, Big Jeff. Big Jeff came. Whew, he did the most, man. He had his walker. He was still in the club.
Walk it out, hey, walk it out.
So till next year, man. My birthday month was official, but today, we have somebody sensational that I want to introduce you to. We have a TV and radio personality, our girl Jazmyn Summers in the morning on Sirius XM, the grown folk joint. My girl Jazmyn, what's happening with you, baby?
What's up, T-Money? What's up, Stax, y'all?
How are you?
Look, I'm honored to be here. We're talking about legends right here.
I'm quiet.
T-Money is a legend, y'all.
I'm quiet. And you're slowly becoming just that yourself.
Oh, I think I got a long way to go to catch up with you. For real.
What's going on? How you been?
I'm good. You know I'm alive. Everything else is extra.
Mm-hmm, no doubt. And I see you all over the internet. You with everybody. You doing the most. I'm not mad at that whatsoever. I want to welcome you to our show today, and I thank you for coming through. And I want to also salute you because you've been doing this for a minute. You even took, from what I'm gathering, you told me earlier, you even took off for like a decade, and you're still out here, and you're still top dog. You know what I mean? And as a black woman, I want to say thank you, and I appreciate all your accomplishments too. You know what I mean? That's big to me. You know what I mean?
Well, we appreciate you, King.
Yeah.
Because you definitely are, and like I said, it is such a pleasure to be here.
No doubt.
I feel so honored, for real.
So what we do usually, we start talking to all our guests, and keep in mind we're not doing all this information from myself or Stax for that matter. We're doing it for the people who are watching. So.
What's up, y'all?
So I want to do this and take it, rewind. Take it back to your beginnings, 'cause I know you're not from the greatest city in the whole entire world.
No, but she's here now.
Oh, wait.
You're
Not
from the greatest city in the entire world.
All right. I'm a Harlem girl now, though.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm repping Harlem
now.
now.
Salute to Harlem, USA, always. You know what I mean?
But I got to give a shout out to California. Dubs up for Cali.
No doubt.
Hey.
That's right. And a peace out to all the people out in California, also to the people who have lost almost everything in the fires, which is
very
heartbreaking.
scary.
So tragic.
And you have people out there.
Yeah, my family actually lost one of my my in-laws. They lost everything. Wow. My sister and brother-in-law. And Halle Berry gave them some clothes, but that was the only clothes they had. But they're doing all right. They're doing all right, and it's a blessing that they're alive. They got out with their lives. They got their fur babies out. Because a lot of animals died.
A lot of animals.
Fire.
Yeah, a lot of them.
And it's so tragic. Climate change is real, people. Climate change is real. We better recognize. You know what I'm saying?
No question. So talk to me a little about. I mean, you're a journalist by trade, right? Mm-hmm. And so talk to me a little about how you got into journalism and how everything started for you. Did you formally go to school for journalism? Did you go to college?
I didn't. I'm actually a high school dropout.
Oh, okay.
Although I did I ended up going to NYU, got my GED, went to NYU.
Okay, so let's stop the show right now. So let me understand this. You were a high school dropout, and you were able to go to NYU, which is my alma mater, by the way.
Oh, okay, dummy up. Okay, my homie.
And so peep this. That is an accomplishment in itself. I'm gonna start listing all your accomplishments from the very beginning.
I'm gonna be feeling so
because
good.
You're so humble. You're so humble, like you didn't accomplish anything when I was talking to you earlier. But that right there in itself is an accomplishment. It's not like you're a garbage man or something right now. You doing your thing. So take me there. I'm sorry. I interrupted you.
So I'm going to keep it real. I was involved in, smoking a lot of weed and even doing, not trapping like heavy, but a little bit of that. School just wasn't working for me. I joined the Black Panther Party because you're right. I am an OG.
No doubt.
Old ass beat, right?
Here you go. There you go, right here.
Power to the people. And that has never left me. I will always be a revolutionary,
Okay.
And so school was just not relevant. So I went for about a year and a half in high school, and then I stopped.
You know, that's funny because a lot of, and you're not alone in that, you know, because there's so many kids that, and that's why there are a lot of programs nowadays is different, you know, because, you know, a lot of faculty members and administrators recognize that in a lot of students, that they don't necessarily gravitate to the traditional way of learning things, you know?
Right.
Because to be honest with you, a lot of that stuff is outdated anyway, you know
That's
what I mean?
right.
So in school, they don't gravitate to that, you know?
Well, especially young brothers, because school is not, well, I mean, that's a whole nother conversation, but a lot of the schools in the hood and and a lot of the private charter schools are designed, they're school to prison pipeline. They're designed to compel young brothers, especially, to drop out of school and then get involved in the criminal justice system, because the private prison companies,
they're waiting.
And they actually,
and they have a place for them.
they have and I have actually seen the business models of some of these private prison companies like CAA.
Wow.
And they base it on, you know, we can get these many kids, They base it on tracking them as far back as like kindergarten and first grade, because they need they need a steady source of inmates, because they make about $100 rack off of
each one.
Yeah, $100 rack off of each one, so that's big money.
Yeah, no question.
So it's like, who are the best folks to go in prison?
Damn.
My beautiful black men. You know, so that's why we're that's why we're a target. And so.
Yeah, and a lot of times, you know, I shun at the whole idea of us as a people glorifying that lifestyle. You know?
Exactly.
Because because the bigger picture tells you something totally different. It says, you know, that you are actually, like, you know, targeted, and which is not necessarily the best look for us as a people, period.
Exactly.
But that's a whole nother conversation. So Jazz, talk to me a little about the West Coast. You know, you were out there, you're doing your West Coast thing. You were at KBLX, right?
Yeah, and that was in the Bay.
The Bay. Oh yeah, the Bay. Salute to the Bay, man. Salute to the Bay, bro. Salute to the Bay. And who else? Sway, isn't Sway from?
We got a lot of people repping Oakland. Too short.
E40, right?
E40,
no
Too
doubt.
Short. Come on now.
Piece of Short, dog. That's my guy right there. Man.
Sadly, you know, his brother was shot.
Yeah, man. Salute to that, man.
Rest
That's
in peace,
crazy.
rest in power.
And I'm so sorry to hear that, brother. I was just with him last summer for a while. I went out to forgot where we were. I think it was down in Jersey, someplace where he was on tour with Snoop, so I went to see him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Snoop, I'm not feeling you right now.
Yeah.
Snoop.
Oh man.
Nah, Snoop. Anyway.
What, you talking about Snoop and Trump?
Snoop. I mean, y'all saw the first post, which was right.
2017.
What Jigaboo, what Uncle Tom gonna go perform for Trump. And while Snoop was shucking and jiving for Mr. Trump, Trump was telling the police to wild out on young black men. He said, basically, do whatever you want, torture, kill, maim, brutalize. We are getting rid of anything that's going to hold you accountable, so go for it. Getting rid of DEI, diversity, which has now become synonymous for us.
For the people of color, of course.
And we're blamed for everything. He blamed the wildfires on us. He blamed the helicopter crash on us, even though the pilots were white.
Yeah.
You know, and he had just fired the head of the FAA and fired 100 FAA agents, TSA agents, and the FAA agents that he had fired.
Right.
So that's why they were short-staffed. It was because of Trump. But he's like, nah, y'all, it's because of them.
This is the way.
Them N-words over there.
But check this. But first of all, let's go back to the great Snoop Doggy Dogg. I can't speak on why he chose to make that decision. I would like to hear it from him first off. Let's keep it 100. But more importantly, Trump is going to do whatever he has to do to make himself seem like he is going to be the best president that ever lived, right? He's going to spin it the way he wants to spin it. And he has an agenda, you know? And he's laying out the agenda in front of everybody. And unless you're blind, you have to be able to see what's going on.
And Jazmyn and I we touched on it just a little bit,
right?
And we're not going to live on this, but what I would like to say is that everything that's unrolling now, or being revealed now, I should say, was not revealed in any of the debates.
Of course
so it was not clear.
Not.
It was not clear
Because
about what was going to happen. But everybody else on social media was like, Project 2025. Y'all need to know.
That's why.
Yeah, but I mean, we can't be, we can't keep falling for
18
Don't sleep, people.
18 million Democrats did not vote in this election.
Right. And that's how he won because, you know.
18 million. I mean,
and then there was a lot of racism. People did
Right.
not want to vote for Harris as a black woman.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that.
And also her being a woman, too.
Exactly, as a black woman, racism and sexism.
Yeah.
But I really think that right now we can't sleep people boycott Target. Okay, because they dropped DEI like a hot potato, and there are other companies that did it. But if we can make an example out of one, then the other companies will realize we got power. We're not folks who are just going to be like, yo, do whatever you want to us. You know, we're like an abused spouse or something. You can beat the F out of us and we're going to still stay with you.
Right.
So we got to boycott Target, go to Costco, which has stood firm on DEI instead. There's some other stores. So anyway, that would be I know that's not what we're here to talk about.
No, it's all right, but we're talking freely. You know what I mean? And
That's why I had to say that.
This is what it is right now.
I don't care, Snoop. I'm going to talk to you directly. And Snoop is my boy.
Right.
Okay, Snoop is my boy. We hung out together.
Listen to me.
He's even hooked me up with some dope stuff.
I've yet to meet Mr. Brocious, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm a big fan, and I would
We're
love to
a
hear.
fan.
I would love to hear his perspective.
His
on the whole
perspective is like, hey, I just did it. Like, he spoke out about it. He didn't say nothing. Now, no bag is worth our dignity, my brother.
Right.
Okay? Think of Paul Robeson, Malcolm X. Okay, Martin Luther
Well,
King.
he wasn't alone in his quest to perform. I think T.I. did the same thing, correct?
No, T.I. didn't perform.
Oh, who was?
Tip is
That
a
was-
real one.
So,
That was
Rose.
Nelly.
Yeah, it was Nelly. My fault. My
Nelly
fault.
and
It was
Rose.
Soulja
Okay,
Boy.
I stand.
Yeah, and
I
Rick
stand
Ross.
corrected. It was Nelly and
Nelly,
Soulja
Soulja Boy, and
Yeah.
Rose.
Okay, it's all good though. It's all good.
Yes.
So, but
I still love you, Snoop, kind of, sort of, maybe a little bit. But not that much.
Snoop is my guy, man. You know,
We love the music.
Go spark a L. Go spark a L with him and have a conversation. How about that? Yo, but listen. Please, your transition from L.A. to New York.
Well, I
Speak to me.
I was in the Bay, actually,
Right.
not in L.A.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, but it's
the
all
West
good.
Coast is what I'm referring to. The West
all
Coast
good.
and New York City are totally different worlds.
Yeah,
You know
it
what I
is.
mean?
Well, New York has always felt like home to me because I was one of these kids that was moved around to a lot of different places.
Okay.
So no place really felt like home, but New York felt most like home. My grandmother grew up here. My mom was born
okay.
here. I ended up going to college here. I went to NYU.
Yeah, NYU.
Right.
I graduated from college, So all that. So New York has always felt a little bit like home. So when I was kind of looking around for, because I had actually ended my marriage, and I was like, okay, where do I want to just chill, and live? And New York, I've always loved the energy of New York. LA, people are a little too plastic for me, but still shout out to LA, dubs up for you too. But New York is just, it's real.
Yeah.
It's
New
real.
York is a
Very.
real one. I love the political, cultural, social, artistic energy that exists in New York. So I just decided to come back to New York. I didn't know anybody, but I'm starting to meet people like y'all,
Right,
beautiful
right.
folks. Hey.
Right.
And so that's what brought me here. And at the time, we were broadcasting remotely because of COVID.
Oh.
Right.
So I could work anywhere. So that was really dope. Now they want me back in the studio. I'm like, you all sending me a private jet? Because if you ain't sending me a private jet, it ain't happening. That's iHeart.
Yo, listen to me. iHeart, send her a jet because y'all need her right now.
I mean,
Stop playing.
I'm still working at iHeart, but now I got to start going in the studio in some place at West F, New Jersey. So.
Oh, wow, that's what part? North Jersey or South?
Rutherford?
Oh, Rutherford.
I don't even know. What is a Rutherford?
That's not that far. You good. As long as you get a car to your job, you're straight.
Okay.
I think it's 20, maybe like 15 minutes into Jersey.
Okay.
Maybe like 15 to 20 minutes into Jersey.
Okay. Well, I got to start.
It's not that bad.
I got to start going there next week, 3 times a week.
Listen, you can go
But you're
wherever.
going early though, right? 6 a.m. So
Well, that's serious. No, that's Sirius XM.
Okay.
iHeart. I start at 8.
Oh, you started.
So I'm tracking for Sirius XM. We track.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So
It
my-
is. Listen, it's live when you do it. It's live when you do it.
So my point here is you're doing Sirius, you're doing iHeart, you're doing. Listen to me, you're doing a lot. Because every time I cut on my phone, I'm like, oh, Jazmyn's posing. Oh, she's with Snoop. Oh, she's with 50. Oh, she's with this one. Oh, she's with that one.
She's getting to the bag.
She's getting to. Listen to me. This woman is truly amazing. It's not about her sensationalism and being around all these people. It's the fact that she's strong-minded. Mm-hmm. She's talented. She's a woman of color, and and a lot of times she speaks her mind, right? Because you're a revolutionary. Revolutionaries make things happen. They move mountains, right? And my girl Jazmyn's in the building. She is doing just that. So, but talk to me about your how you, because you've engaged with so many people, And what do you think? And why do you think people gravitate to you so much? Because people seem to love you. They vibe with you. They're always around you. Listen to me. Your energy is actually infectious. So I'm just trying to figure out how I can get a piece. How I can get a piece of that. How I can be part of that vibe. You know what I mean?
Well, you already are. Like you're
I need to be the same kind of person. Like, yo, let me rock with Jazmyn right quick.
Oh, yo, your energy is amazing. It is fire, both of you. Y'all are fire. I mean, I don't know if people gravitate towards me or not.
They do. Trust me. I'm watching this, man. Trust what I tell you. I'm a very good judge of character.
Really?
Yes, I am. That's my name, Character Jones.
Okay,
that's my alias.
Hey.
You know what I mean? So, and I can tell you that they do, and you should be commended for that. But let me ask you another question, real quick. So we were in the break room earlier, just so you guys know, we have a break room here where we eat and
It's cute.
and we chill out
And get this little wine.
and we meet the guests and we talk. But talk to me about what you think as it relates to the entertainment. Maybe I should even dumb it down to, the music and entertainment. Where do you think it's going at this point? Because there's a lot of rumbling and people are saying like hip hop is losing its edge. It's laced too much with the feminine energy. Trap is not really doing it like old school hip hop. There's so many negative connotations about the culture and more importantly entertainment, black entertainment, period. What do you think? Do you think there's any validity to any of that, and what do you think is going moving forward?
Well, I think it's a complicated situation, because, oh my God, so much of the new school hip hop is fire.
Yep.
Yeah, the beats are dope.
And
there's
female.
Yeah, and it's so nice to see females taking the lead. Glow, I love you, and so I think that's dope. I'm not even mad at women owning their sexuality, which is what I think we see with a lot of the female hip hop artists. Would I like to see more diversity?
Right.
Because if you think back to some of the old school folks like Yo-Yo and MC Lyte and Latifah even, there was a lot of positive, lyrical, pen games going on.
Right.
And a lot of it was about unity and about, like Yo-Yo was like, don't mess with my yo-yo. You can't play with my yo-yo, you know what I'm saying? So she was kind of like, yeah, I'm up here. Whereas now our message is, yeah, we can really put it down. We can suck that. We can throw that back. We can do that. And that's okay. I'm not like mad at it, but I would like to see more diversity.
There's a place for that. Right?
Yeah.
And there's a place for what Yo-Yo offered and what MC Lyte offered and what Queen Latifah offered and what, Remy Ma offers and what, there's a place for all that, And we would like to see, but see, the problem here is, and part of the reason why I created this show is to kind of support, what commercial radio and commercial television as it relates to our culture, as Stacks can tell you, right? Only support what's super hot and super young.
Yep.
Right? Anything outside of that scope, they don't even support. It's actually pretty pathetic because the culture itself is all one thing. There's been discussions about maybe we should break rap music up. Just the music part. Maybe we should break rap music up like they do other forms of music. Make this old school adult contempt. Make trap. Make something. And,
maybe they should
and do it that way. There's all kinds of debates on that. You know what I mean? But the point I was making was we're all one, and we should all be supported as such. You know what I'm saying? And we're not. I go to a prime example. A Summer Jam gathers several people every year to actually perform, right? And when they used to perform over here in Jersey at Giant Stadium, they would pack the stadium. Now Giant Stadium holds maybe 50,000 people. Myself, Ed Lover, and Dr. Dre, during the Yo MTV Raps experience, we did a concert.
Shout out to Yo MTV Raps.
No doubt.
Yes.
And T-Money.
No doubt.
Yes.
We did a concert at the Barclays, and the Barclays holds, I don't know, the maximum, maybe 18,000, 19,000, right? So we packed it 17.5 in there.
Yeah.
But keep this in mind, this is old school hip hop. And they're saying that there's no money in it. You're just not pouring any money into it to promote it.
Right.
That event happened with no promotions.
With no promotion. That's amazing.
Yeah, no promotions whatsoever. It was packed. So that's why I'm asking you, what are your thoughts on the culture itself and how do you feel in regards to its
Well, I
growth?
think when we think about the birth of hip hop, it came out of our pain, our struggle, and who we were as
This
a
is
people.
very true. Yep.
And if you listen to the lyrics, that was a dominant. When you listen to Nas, when you listen to so many others, they were not only lyrical geniuses, but it talked about our culture. It talked about us fighting back.
Yeah, well, hip hop is supposed to be the dialogue as it relates to lyricists and content and songs is based on what is transpiring. It's like it's like CNN. It's reporting what the streets are telling.
It was reporting the streets, but it was also reporting. There was also a lot of black consciousness in hip hop back in the day.
Yeah.
I think as corporations realize, this makes some money. We can make some coin off of this. Corporations got involved, and the corporations are run by not us,
Right.
at the top. And I even know like some young hip hop groups that are fire, and corporations wanted to sign them, and they were doing kind of conscious hip hop, like talking about dignity amongst black folks, talking about us giving back, holding each other down, loving each other, fighting back against the things that oppress us. And the corporation said, my brothers, okay, your beats are fire, okay, your flow is, you got a banger here, but you got to change some lyrics. I'm gonna need you to talk about trapping.
Yep.
And I'm going to need you to talk about effing bitches.
No, see,
Excuse my language.
That's terrible.
So I
terrible.
think what happened was when corporations got involved in hip hop, it became a formula.
You change the narrative.
They changed the narrative, and I think the formula was not one that upheld us.
Of course
it
not.
was one that destroys us.
Yeah.
Because
And-
now you're chasing what's popular.
And it's not even, they're creating what's popular. And remember, the biggest buyers of hip hop are suburban white boys.
Yeah.
So they're creating what's popular, right? So
Actually, it's suburban young girls, actually, not white.
Oh,
boys.
it's not white boys, young
Yeah,
girls. Okay,
yeah.
but it's white, and so you do have a J. Cole, you do have some folks like that, but at the end of the day, you have to be pretty courageous to do anything except that formula that they are going to make you do, because they're not about us.
Right.
When hip hop started, it was about us.
Right.
Now it's about the dollar for white folks, and the dollar for white folks comes with a certain formula. And so I think that's why we don't see the diversity in hip hop
right.
that we would like to see.
Well, back in the late 80s, I mean, we're talking 87, 88, 89, there was so much diversity then because everything was brand new.
Yeah.
You had groups that came out, and all the groups that came out, nobody was the same.
Right.
If EPMD came out, if Eric B. and Rakim came out, if LL comes out, if
Right.
Run DMC is out, all these groups are talking hip hop. They're doing hip hop as a culture and doing hip hop music, but they're not delivering the message the same way.
Right, exactly. And you had 3-6 Mafia, which is actually one of my
No
favorite
question,
groups.
no question.
Their beats rock. Like
Yes,
can't nobody
they
do
do.
it like 3-6, right?
For sure.
But obviously that was about trapping, which is more in line with what we're hearing now.
Right.
But then you also had KRS-One.
Right.
You had Dead Prez.
Right.
So like you said, we had the diversity.
Yeah.
Now all they'll allow is trapping and sex.
Yeah.
And I think about young people coming up. It's
This
like
is-
a
and this-
mantra.
And this is all they're hearing, and this
It's
is all they
all
know.
they're hearing.
Yeah.
And
That's
it's
the sad part.
That's the sad part. For us, I mean, we good.
Right.
We got diversity in our lives.
Right.
But
Because we were exposed to it early. That's why.
exactly. But
That's
you
why.
think about if you're coming up and you're 7 years old on up to the time you become 18. All you're hearing is this. So what does that create in terms of a culture for our youth, and in
man.
terms of
Yeah.
models for our youth, and who are the heroes for our youth?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like I said, I did a little drugs when I was young. I even did a little trapping. I did get out of that. But so many of our youth, if they start doing that,
Right.
they get caught up in it. They end up in the prison system. I
Yeah.
never did, fortunately,
Thank
right?
God.
Fortunately. But, the point is that when they lock brothers up and they lock these young sisters up, they're not given that second chance. I had a second chance because I never got locked up,
Right.
right?
Right.
So I was able to evolve out of that and into something else, right? But for a lot of our young brothers and sisters, that is not even an option. They,
So that's facts. So, but let me ask you this. This is another question I wanted to ask you. As a woman of color, and that has achieved a level of success, right? can you go over with us some of the challenges that you face historically, and more importantly, if you were to talk to someone, especially some young woman of color that was interested in doing or following your lead, what would you tell them today?
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing for young women and young men is persistence.
For sure.
And I think at the end of the day, too, you also have to hold on to your values, right? So when those men be pressing you out, because you know they do, and it's better now because of the Me Too movement and all that kind of stuff, and the Diddy stuff is not cool. Back in the day, Diddy's stuff was normal, right? That was normal. Like, but you wanted to always be true to who you were and not be afraid to say no and not to buy the hype. Because if somebody's telling you, yeah, if you hook me up, I got you. Trust me, they're saying that to like 100 women.
Right.
You still have to be talented. Right. So that's not really going to get you anywhere. Because if you have the talent and you're good, you're going to be able to proceed without that. You're going to be able to grow and level up without that. But I even had girlfriends who fell for that. I was like, girl, don't fall for that shit. Excuse my language. I'm like, I said, do you know how many people he's spitting the same shit to?
Right.
How many cute females with big butts he's talking to the same way?
Right.
You are not going to get a leg up because of that. I promise you, you know. So you can say no. In fact, you probably do better if you say no, you know, because they're going to keep trying to chase it.
That's fact. That's fact.
You know what I'm saying? So you can be like, well, maybe you can get some if you hook me up, but you don't actually give it up, you know. Don't really do that.
Right.
So I think that, the misogyny, of course, it's not as bad as it was back in the day, but it's still there.
It ran rapid back then.
It ran
matter of fact,
rampant.
It was commonplace. It was.
It was the normal.
Yeah, it was the normal.
It was the normal.
For sure.
So now it's not as much the normal, but it's still out there. I mean, I know a lot of young, beautiful women, and that's what they get when they go up for deals or they go up for help and things like that. And I'm saying, if you feel comfortable doing that, I'm not mad at you. I'm not a judgmental person.
Right.
But I think you have to be true to your own values. Like for me, I would not have felt good being that way, right? And so I tell young women, I'm like, if that's not you, if you ain't feeling it, don't do it. Don't do it. Because at the end of the day, even if you get a little success, you're going to feel a way about yourself. You know.
So you heard her, right? Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Draw the line, set boundaries, do not do it.
And promise me, they will respect you more. And you can still get up, you can still move on, you can still make progress. And now there's so many black women that are powerful in the industry. Let those sisters mentor you.
Now, speaking of powerful black sisters, you are one.
Well, not really. But
you are. Don't do that. You are.
Thank you.
But honey. I want to know, for every strong black woman, or for every strong woman, period, that you standing on the shoulders of other strong black women, who are some of the journalists that you looked up to when you were finding yourself?
Who did I look up to? I mean, I think I took my inspiration from some of the black women who were involved in struggle, like Fannie Lou Hamer.
Okay.
People like that who, like, yo, you can't move me. I'm going to fight for this. But certainly we've got so many amazing black women. Sylvia Roan, such a pioneer.
Sylvia Roan, salute to her.
Yeah, salute to her, So many, and like the hip-hop artists who were out there, from Queen Latifah, on, who were, our old school hip-hop artists who were women who were blazing a trail for black women. So I think that it's, in terms of journalism, God, who can I think of? I can't think of anybody in terms of journalism, because you're right, I was a reporter for a while.
But I mean, not so much just reporting, just your voice, period. That's still, anytime that you have a mic in front of you and you're sharing your opinion, that's still journalism, whether it's written or not.
Yeah, but I was a reporter. I was a reporter at CNN. I was a reporter for a couple of local television stations. But I think that, for me, my inspiration always comes from the bold, beautiful, courageous sisters like the Angela Davises, the Assata Shakurs, the Fannie Lou Hamers, those folks.
Nice.
And if you don't know who they are, Google them. These are our heroes, yo.
Just keep in mind something. This woman became a Black Panther. So let's keep it one. I'm just letting you know how far we're going right now. She was a Black. Well, she still is a Black Panther. Once a Black Panther.
In my heart.
Once a Black Panther, always a Black Panther. Don't get it twisted. So, so real talk. You're a radio personality. You're a television personality. far as your career path, it's kind of set. But what if there was another profession that you could pick to be? Like, what would you want to be?
The other profession, man, I would love to just be like a revolutionary, fighting the power. Like Public Enemy says, fight the power. But I actually did have another career. I was in public relations for a while. I had my own company.
Oh, you worked in PR?
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
I worked in PR. I worked for Nelson Mandela.
Oh, okay.
I worked for President Aristide of Haiti.
Oh,
worked
nice.
for so we formed a firm. We were the only black women-owned firm that expressly devoted ourselves to social change. So we worked a lot for different organizations that were fighting against the death penalty or fighting against mass incarceration or things like that. So I did that for a while. Did that for about 10 years.
Amazing. Always in a position of power. I love that for you.
And salute to
I love that for
the
you.
great Nelson Mandela.
Yeah. When he got out of
R.I.P.,
jail.
man. Yeah.
When he got out of jail, I was on the plane with him when he did the U.S. tour, which was really amazing. Yeah.
Now, we were having a conversation earlier about jail here in the States. In comparison to where Nelson was, it was like, it's like, I don't know, it's like a social club here. Nelson had a tough time in jail,
Yes,
man.
he did.
27 years,
That's
in jail.
right.
It's tough,
That's right.
tough situation, man. But thank you, Nelson. Thank you for what you did for us, man, as people.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So okay, so here we go. So now that we already understand that you are all world, and you've been everywhere, and you've done everything, you're a Swiss Army knife
She's
of
a
this.
woman of the people.
Right, you're a Swiss Army knife of this culture. Talk to me more about what's in the future for Jazmyn. Like, what's going on in the future?
Oh, that's such a good question. I don't know. I take it day by day. I mean, I really shouldn't. I really should,
You should plan something.
I should
maybe.
plan some stuff, but I just kind of take it day by day. So I really don't know what's in the future for me. Hopefully something beautiful.
So-
Everything beautiful. You have 2 shows. You have 2 shows. Tell us about Grown Folks music.
So Grown Folk Jams is really dope,
Grown Folk
y'all.
Jams, I'm sorry.
Grown Folk Jams, it's on Sirius XM, channel 362, but you can also listen to it online. I'm not supposed to probably tell people this, but you can get it free. grownfolkjams.com. So
Okay.
on your mobile app, you can download the app, or like I said, online, Grown Folk Jams, no S. I love the mix. It's a very cute mix. It's and I can't claim responsibility for it. That is my program director, my music director. But it's new school R&B, old school R&B, and then old school hip hop, and sprinkled with a little reggae, little Afro beats. And then every so often we'll dig in the crates, like I was telling you before, and play something like Ill and Al Scratch, and you'll be like, yo, I remember that. Or you might be too young to
I
remember
love
it,
that.
but you're like, let's fire. Or African Bambaataa, some of our pioneers in hip hop, because African Bambaataa, one of the founders of
Yeah,
hip
for
hop,
sure.
right?
Yeah, no question.
PE, Public Enemy. So we'll play some of that. And then at the top of every hour, they play a gospel song, which is
Oh,
so
interesting.
unusual.
Set the tone.
Because they call it the Song of Celebration. They like to start each hour with some inspiration and some motivation. What I call it soul food. A little
Nice.
soul food. So it's a really nice mix, I listened to it not just because I was on it, but I listened to it all day because it's just a good vibe, a positive vibe. So I F with it.
So listen to me. You might as well check out Jazmyn right now. Because if you're doing, I'm gonna come to your house and do something to you that you're not gonna like.
Absolutely.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
wait, T, one thing, Richard, just real quick. Your voice is like amazing. It really is. So I'm sure that all your listeners are like, oh yes, Jazmyn is on. Shh. But I just want to know, right? Because you have the female version of Lenny Green. Like Lenny Green has like the sexy deep
it's very
voice,
cool,
right?
yeah.
But you have the
Really?
female version voice of that.
I'm gonna be sexy.
You should. You already
Grown
are.
and sexy.
No, but listen.
Yes.
So in saying that, right? And you talking about old school R&B and new school R&B. If someone came to you today and said, "I want you to host this show," you can pick four artists, 2 old school, 2 new school. Who you bringing?
Do they have to be alive?
No,
Okay. So, first we got to get Chris up in there.
Chris Brown. Come on.
We got to get Chris up in there.
Okay.
Chris
Okay.
Brown is
I
there.
love Chris Brown.
Okay. Mario got a new banger.
Mario is dope too.
Mario's new
Mario?
banger, y'all got to check it out. It is the first time he's been in the top 10 in Billboard in
Wow.
20 years.
Wow, that's dope.
And this song is fire.
Okay.
Yeah, we play it all the time, and I love it. I'd be like, oh, can we play it twice? No, we can't. But I'm not sure I would put Mario on there. Definitely Luther. I think
Okay.
Luther is acrobatic in some of his songs. Like you listen to "Let
Yeah.
Me Take You Out," his voice is like Cirque du Soleil. It'd be like all over the place. I'm like, damn, Luther, you got it down there and up there and what? And then I think I would put I'd put Jaheim on there.
Nice.
Jaheim could
Jaheim?
sing to me anytime.
That's incredible.
25-8.
Wow.
25-8, Jaheim. You know, it's so sad because his mental illness
Right.
has kept him, I think, from being able to continue.
Right,
But
right.
yo, he is fire. And we got to get another new school cat on there. I think, new school, I'm not sure which one.
Maybe a female?
Oh, a female. Yes, we got to have a woman on there.
Yeah,
Shit.
you're not picking female at all.
That's all
I
right.
can't be sexist myself.
No, it's
What?
okay. It's okay. It's okay. Because sometimes when we think about the slow jams, we think about the guys singing.
That's
We don't
because
think
I'm a
about-
woman.
Right.
I'm a woman, so I like the guys singing to me, right? Okay, so
Right.
let me think, because I don't play on the other side of the street.
No.
So let me think. I mean, nothing wrong with it.
It's not, but if you don't-
nothing
but
wrong
no,
with
but
it.
if you
but
don't
I
play
like,
with it, you
I
don't play
like
with it.
chess
I
and
just-
men and
Right.
and
It's a lot going on here on my show right
hit me
now.
in my DMs
Yes,
if,
ooh.
if you're single and you fine and hit me up. Okay.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. You
All right,
heard
I'm
it
trying
here.
to think of a woman.
What about Money Long?
Money Long, yeah, I like her. I like her stuff.
Money Long. Who was it? Somebody else.
I like Money Long.
You could think about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have
You
to
could
think about it.
But I feel like it's coming though.
It's coming. I think,
I
but I'm
feel-
trying to think of
I
because I'm trying
feel
to
like
think
this
new
show is
school.
coming though for you.
SZA.
SZA, there you go.
SZA. We
SZA's
gotta get
dope.
SZA on there.
SZA's
Okay.
dope, too.
SZA on
Salute
there.
to
Okay,
that.
we're gonna get SZA on there.
All
So
right, so
Ja-
there's the show. So
There's
you
the
know,
show.
Yeah, Jazz, do me a favor, please. Do me a favor, please. Do the fact that you're looking for men. No, I'm only kidding. So, do me a favor and tell my audience where they can find you every day.
So please check me out. My YouTube. I have a lot of dope interviews on there, ranging from Ice-T,
Yeah, salute to
who's both
Ice-T
old
in the
school
building.
and new school, and metal. Believe it or not, he got a metal band that he is
Mm-hmm. That's
touring
right.
with that he loves
Wow.
and has really been successful, right?
There's body count in the
Body
building.
count.
That's
It's
right.
fire too, because
Salute to Mickey Benson. Salute to my man Ice-T. Salute to Body Count.
Yep. So I've got all kinds of interviews on there, and from Remy Ma, of course, she's going through some things right now with Pap, and from that to Ice-T to who else I got on there? The cast of Black Ice, of Love and Hip Hop. So that's on my channel. It's Jazmyn Summers, JazmynSummers.
Okay.
And then my gram is at Jazz Talk 1, JazTalk1. And of course, check me out every morning, Grown Folk Jams. Hey.
That's right. And that's right.
Grown
And that's
folk
your grown
jams,
folks, and
I
that's
see.
your grown. You don't know nothing about that talk like that.
But if you were young and you might enjoy it too. So it's grownfolkjams.com if you don't want to pay for Sirius XM, and those are and then I do Radio 1, entertainment reporting. But
That's a whole list of good things
so
right
thank
there.
you
Thank
all
you very much,
so
Jazz.
much. Thank you for having me.
We appreciate
it was
you.
so dope
Thank you.
chopping it up with y'all.
No doubt. Yo, this is T Money, and you have been watching the T Money podcast joint. Stax Cadero, Jazmyn Summers, amazing. Thank you very much, Jazz,
Thank you.
for being here.
And don't miss T Money. His podcasts are fire.
No doubt.
For real though.
Salute, yo, 100. We out. Peace, two fingers.
Podcast joint.